some good news out of China. I've seen a number of stories in the last few days, all with the same basic theme. And that theme is that Xi is in trouble. And maybe on his way out. That there are serious forces within the Chinese Communist Party that are fed up with him and want to get rid of him. Now, there's a lot of stories at the same time about Chinese generals being ousted. And one interpretation has been that this is Xi continuing to, get people in line with his agenda. But this alternative interpretation is saying, no. What's happening is this is the other people who are trying to get rid of Xi, eliminating his support base in the military. So you've got top Chinese general was ousted recently, and the Navy chief was ousted, and a top nuclear scientist was ousted. And there really seems to be, a rebellion. Now, maybe these people who are ousted are part of the rebellion, or maybe the ouster is the rebellion. It's getting rid of people who have, Xi's been in power for a long time. He's been in power for over 10 years. These are people he put in place, and now whoever's trying to replace him is getting rid of them. The actual politics within the Politburo, within the governing entity of the Chinese Communist Party are very complicated, very weird. It's not, it's not, there's all these power centers, and Xi had seemed to, over the last few years, to solidify his grip on the party. And yet now, there are, the New York Post had a opinion piece titled, "Is Chinese President Xi Jinping on his way out?" It starts, over the past few months, unprecedented developments point to the potential and potentially imminent fall of China's chairman of everything, Xi Jinping. Chinese Communist Party elders, including Hu Jintao, Xi's immediate predecessor, whom Xi humiliated at the 20th Party Congress in 2022, are now running things behind the scenes. Xi is in poor health and likely to retire at the CCP plenary session this August, or take a purely ceremonial position. Xi's downfall has been rumored before, but never have we seen the recent purges, mysterious deaths of dozens of People's Liberation Army generals loyal to Xi, and replaced by non-Xi loyalists. Supposedly, Zhang Yuxi, whom Xi had a major falling out after helping Xi secure an unprecedented third five-year term, is now the de facto leader of the PLA. Now, again, I don't know if any of this is accurate, but anyway, this is going on. There was another story that I saw. Is Xi Jinping in political trouble? This one is out of, it's not even in the US. This is out of, I think, India. I think that's right. And, it says the 2-week absence of President Xi Jinping from public view has sparked speculation, including concerns about possible power struggle, social unrest, and his health. The Chinese Communist Party did not hold its monthly Politburo meeting in May, and no official announcement about it was made. This sparked strong rumors about Xi's eroding power, internal rivalry, and growing dissent. He's also, it was just announced that Xi is not going to the Brick summit in Rio de Janeiro. He's missing out. Rio de Janeiro is really, really beautiful. But he's not going. They told the Brazilians he's not coming. So Xi seems to be in the outs. And part of that is age and health, supposedly. But I think much more than that is the economy. We'll get to that in a second. Interviewing some intellectuals in China, Quote, he will step down as General Secretary of the CCP and Chairman of the Central Military Commission, retaining only the ceremonial title of China's chairman before fully retiring at the 21st National Congress. So this will be super good, super interesting, super good. It is interesting in the sense that I think the main reason for this is economic. The Chinese economy is really struggling. Real estate market has collapsed. There is a major banking crisis because of the real estate. China has 17% youth unemployment. And now prices are declining. Exports are declining, partially because of the trade war. But real estate is imploding. That's the main driver. 1 in 6 can't find work. Consumers are not spending. Chinese 10-year bond yield is 1.64. America's is 4.26. So, you know, it's suggesting kind of, you know, it's suggesting deflationary pressures in the sense of prices coming down because demand is shrinking and supply is exploding, maybe. You know, hard to tell exactly what's going on there. We certainly don't have monetary numbers on China that we can trust. China's exports to the U.S. are dropping significantly. And, you know, Europe is cutting back on buying from China. And the hope was Chinese consumers will pick up the slack. But the reality is that Chinese consumers are not picking up the slack. So China's in trouble. And it does indeed look like if they replace Xi, there's a good likelihood that they will replace him with somebody who's much more sympathetic to markets. So the guy who was the president before Xi was much better. And I think there's been a significant number of people within the Chinese ruling party who don't like Xi's attack on markets, don't like Xi's move away from market liberalization, which you know was common in China since the early 1980s, and resulted in Chinese massive success. Indeed, what Xi did after the financial crisis, orienting the Chinese economy towards the real estate bubble and real estate consumption rather than broad-based consumption, or rather than just leaving it to the market, is been a disaster. His shutting down of tech. You remember Jack Ma disappearing for a while, regulating tech, and discouraging entrepreneurship. If you've seen a graph of Chinese tech entrepreneurship, it's basically gone like that. That is the government discouraging it. Over the last year or so, they've tried to revive that. They've tried to say, oh, no, we want entrepreneurship, we want more tech. But the policies have dictated a complete collapse in that whole in that market. In the market, and much more central planning, government control, which is, as we know, a losing strategy. So there's a good chance, I think, that Xi is out. And if Xi is out, China could return to a path of moving towards liberalization economically. And I still believe that a path that moves China towards greater economic liberalization will ultimately result in China moving towards political liberalization. And, you know, that would be amazing. I mean, if we could end this stupid Cold War II before it gets too cold or too hot or whatever you want to call it, if China ultimately can unite with Taiwan under, you know, a political freedom, political free system. That would be amazing. I mean, that would completely change the dynamics of where the world is heading. You know, it might be true still that the United States is heading towards a catastrophe, but at least other parts of the world would be heading in a good direction, and maybe the rest of the world could emulate a country like China liberalizing. It still has to happen, though, right? There's no guarantee that it will happen. But I am now hopeful that Xi will be gone, and we will get an opportunity for somebody much, much better to come in his place and move China in a significantly, dramatically better direction. That is anyway, that's my hope. And I'm going to be following that story, and I'll keep you updated.